Okay, we'll call today's meeting to order. It's the May 21st, 2026 meeting of the Climate Action and Resilience Committee. My name is Brian Mays. I'm the City Council for San Vital Ward. I'll be chairing today's meeting. I think we have the land and water acknowledgement. Thanks to Brendan, who is, I think missed our last meeting, but is our clerk. So I'd like to acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Innu and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. Mr. Clerk, we need minutes approved. There are no delegations. We need minutes approved.
We'll leave that the minutes of the meeting held on January 22nd, 2026 be taken as read and confirmed.
I'm gonna have Matt move all of this today, just for the sake of, rather than fishing around, always trying to find a mover or a seconder. So if acting deputy CAO Rivero, our vice chairperson, moves that. All right, so we have approval of the minutes. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried.
And just one more motion to allow remote participation.
Thanks. Yes, Laura Tyler's with us remotely. Thank you for attending, Laura. Thanks to the other committee members for your participation and belief in this committee. Motion from Matt again, or motion from Don, doesn't matter to me. Motion from Don to have Laura attend virtually. Favor? And any opposed, that is carried. We'll run the motions through Dawn. It's easier.
Everyone can go down.
It's rather than fishing around as I do virtually every other. So, any other preliminary matters?
No, we can move on to the reports.
Okay, this will be my last meeting before the election, in that I'm not able to make it to the September meeting, so the vice chair will step in, as I understand it, and that is September 18th. So thanks to everyone for their belief in this committee and participation over the last few years. My report's relatively brief. I'd hoped to have someone from the mayor's office here to speak to what I thought was the key pledge in the last mayoral platform about creation of a green utility, create a green agency from an old city utility. To his credit, Mr. Lewandowski from the mayor's office got back to me, very professional, felt that they would prefer to discuss that in private rather than at the committee. I did talk to Mr. Kelsey as well, who I think wrote this pledge that's in the platform. The pledge is, in essence, to create a utility that would debt finance building retrofits. I won't go into the great detail that's in the platform. It is something that I very much supported. It was something I was tasked with doing when I first got appointed to EPC in this term of office. Unfortunately, nothing has come of it. Not quite nothing. I believe the city budget allocates 186,000 for building retrofits in this term. This is in contrast to the discussion. The platform was about other cities have already financed 8 or even 9-figure investments in retrofits. So when we came up with the strategic priorities action plan at the start of this term, there were, Matt can correct me if I'm wrong, 39 items. Probably about 29 more than I would have wanted, but there were like 39 items. There were 3 I pushed for. There are only 2 items that have nothing showing on the chart. Nothing has been done. Unfortunately, 2 of the 3 I pushed for are those very 2 things, gravel lanes and this item. So it's unfortunate we haven't done anything on this item. I don't think a utility is feasible. I don't think it's doable given the way the city is constructed. But I did want to highlight there was a commitment made to building retrofits, which would certainly be important in climate. There's a certain amount we can do at the city. We can't really do much on ag. We can certainly do something on waste disposal. We are moving to compost collection, though too slowly, but we are moving toward it. And transport, of course, is the third item. But I think what tends to get forgotten, and Laura Tyler has done a very good job over the past 10 years, I would say, around City Hall, of reminding us that building heating is the other main source of threat to the climate. So I guess the battle continues, but I did want to highlight my frustration with this was to be a major achievement. This was in the Strategic Priorities Action Plan. Nothing has been recorded at council. So I do know Mr. Kelsey believes in it. I do know that he has hoped to get other debt financing, infrastructure bank, that sort of thing from other cities have managed to obtain. I wish him well in that. I hope some action can come in the next term because it remains, to be clear, I'm not opposed to the idea. I thought the idea was great. I was quite excited to be tasked with implementing it. Unfortunately, no one else seemed to carry quite that sense of enthusiasm, except perhaps Mr. Kelsey. So hopefully he can move forward on it and get some funding toward it. So that is my report. Are there any questions? If not, do I need a motion to approve that? All right, John.
Give us information.
Don will move to accept the report from the chairperson. All right, all those in favor? And that is carried. Okay, on to verbal report from vice chairperson.
Just a couple of things I'd like to bring to the committee's attention. The senior management team, which is a group of public servants that's tasked with support of this committee, met in April, received CARC's activity report. In that meeting, we tentatively approved what we call an action team proposal that would see us support a communications plan to support, to articulate what the city's doing with respect to climate change. This is pursuant to a motion in the agenda here today. The other item I'd like to bring to the committee's attention is that we have officially launched as of yesterday our public engagement on the Winnipeg Climate Action Plan update. Phase 1 will help us understand the current context. So folks are interested in Winnipeg.ca and fill out the survey before the end of June. The last thing I'll bring to the attention of the committee is public service continues to engage in capacity building with respect to climate change initiatives. We have an ongoing partnership with ICLEI Canada, which is the local group of local governments for environmental sustainability, and a tool that we need to bring climate action into decision making, particularly around the capital planning context. So it's a promising endeavor. So with that, I'll conclude my report and
No questions, then Joseph can move to accept the vice chairperson's report. All those in favor? I never look at Laura. I keep forgetting that. Thank you, Laura. It's always a lag. Thank you. All right, on to the report from the committee coordinator with the subheading committee coordinator's report. It seems somewhat redundant, but fire away.
There is more detail in the written reports, and then I like to provide a few highlights verbally. So I'll share that CARC held 2 working meetings since our January meeting. So we've had lots of good discussion and movement to implement our work plan. And you'll hear more about some of those activities. So one thing to highlight is on May 6th, the Standing Policy Committee on Property and Development received the Public Service Report on Adaptive Reuse and Preservation of Heritage Motion, and they received it as information. So the research will be considered as part of the zoning bylaw review. The public and community engagement is online right now, so you can go to Engage Winnipeg to share additional thoughts. But CARC's feedback was included in the report as an appendix. With a number of recommendations from the jurisdictional scan research that was reviewed. So I'll just highlight that one of the recommendations was to expand the scope for future research and possible program development in relation to prioritizing green building design, construction, operations, and decommissioning. Whatever research in the future accounts for embodied energy or carbon in building materials and that it applies to new construction and retrofits or conversions. There were a few other themes that we can discuss if of interest, like public health and we have policy or council approved policy and community energy investment roadmap on green buildings and a few other things. So it's promising and moving in a good direction. So it was great that feedback could be requested through that process to advise the public. As was mentioned, the climate action plan engagement has started. This is just phase 1 of 3 phases. So there's more detail in the written report on those related to analyzing emissions and climate risks, and then actually creating an action plan. There will be another opportunity for public engagement in phase 3. So we'll work on that and keep you informed. But we have been working, or the Office of Sustainability and our consultant has been working in pre-collaboration with equity groups and Indigenous partners. So planning phase is done, and now we're getting into the details of it, which is exciting. I will also highlight a few connections related to CARC's, the third of 3 of CARC's mandates, which is supporting community connections, involvement, and engagement between city and community. So CARC is exploring hosting a second invite-only gathering of 5 citizen committees, or CARC and 4 others, related to climate change. The event will explore strategic planning to achieve committee mandates on intersectional climate change topics, and the goals will be to increase educational and training opportunities, coordination, and efficiency between committees on shared interests that are identified in those discussions. So, looking forward to that. And a few CARC members also were invited to and attended the Climate West Forum that happened May 12th and 13th, which the city was a sponsor of. And it was a very, very good event. So it's nice to learn and connect with community folks. I'd also like to highlight other events that CARC has been invited to in the community, hosted by other community organizations. So Climate Reality Project Canada and local partners are developing a People's Climate Mandate. And there are a few community events in June, or one event and a few ways to participate through a survey and photo submissions. And then Seniors for Climate Manitoba are hosting a picnic conversation on June 3rd in the Park to talk about climate change as well. So it's exciting to hear that climate change is in the conversation, continues to be, and how we keep it there. I will hold off on the communications campaign for the next item. Happy to invite any questions or comments.
Vimy Ridge Park event again is being put on. I have that in my calendar. I meant to mention myself, but that's being put on by
Seniors for Climate.
Thank you for doing that. That there. Okay. Good to get that. I meant to mention, so thanks for catching that. And we've got something coming up with forums as well.
Yes. Yeah, that's the climate reality or the People's Climate Mandate on June 11th at 6 p.m. at the Forks.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Thanks for the report, Laura, as always. Very detailed. Thanks for your work on these subject matters over the life of this committee. So where am I next? Casey's going to move approval of that report. All those in favor? And not opposed. Okay, so then on to the motion at hand. This is your show, I assume, Laura, so I'll turn it over to you.
Well, it is Kirk's, but I
Oh,
will
good.
represent.
Okay, yes, perhaps. What's so breezy about that?
All right, so this is an exciting motion, Climate Communications Campaign for Transparency and Action. There's been a natural progression of activities that CARC has completed in 2025 that have led to this. I'll mention, but the motion's purpose is to co-develop a climate action communication campaign. The campaign will share what the city is doing on climate change action, linked with community storytelling on why it matters. Its goals are to address the disconnect between public knowledge and awareness of what the city is doing on climate action, to make climate impacts and solutions more visible to residents, and to encourage conversations and informed public participation in municipal climate action. It connects the dots between several of CARC's activities. So it applies lessons learned from the ReClimate communications training that the Public Service and CARC received in October of last year. It connects the dots between climate change causes and extreme weather, who's most impacted, what the city and community can do about it, and the benefits of action. And it also highlights Winnipeg people, places, and stories. And it also responds to the Probe public opinion poll that CARC commissioned. That not enough people knew what the city was doing about change. So hopefully we can check a few boxes with this one. This is the first time that CARC has used the subcommittee guidelines process that it developed in 2025 to seek support from the chair, the vice chair, and then senior management team, climate steering committee, to initiate an action team. And if this motion is successful, the action team will work together to co-develop the campaign for about 6 months to co-develop the communication strategy, contribute to key messages and content development and distribution. So CARC the motion proposes hiring a climate change communications consultant for $5,000 to provide advice to the action team on campaign strategy and content. And it also proposes spending $10,000 to develop the content and distribution. So that could be things like equity group participation, translation services, or paid advertising, just to name a few. But the co-development process will identify how that best can be used. This activity also supports the CARC's work plan in supporting the public service to share information on best practices, to initiate a subcommittee or working group or action team, and also to work with the public service to identify information. So pending CARC's approval today, the motion will be considered at the next Standing Policy Committee, Water, Waste, and Environment.
Which will be to put down the line.
15?
Okay. Yeah, so we're not gonna get caught. It's 48 hours. So they're 4 weeks or something.
Yeah, plenty.
Okay, any discussion? Thank you, Collective, for your work on this. We do need to do some of this and we have the budget to do it. So thank you for trying to raise some profile. Appreciate that. If there's no further discussion, then yeah, Lisa, can you move? Mr. Chair, we just need, Mr. Clerk, we just need to be a result.
Correct. Would you like me to read that into the record?
So you're just gonna move it's the entirety of the motion.
The motion as written.
Motion is written, okay. So we'll have move that the motion as written be approved. Okay, everybody clear? Good. Okay, we'll call the question. All those in favor? Thank you, Laura. Any opposed? If not, that's carried. Okay. Any further items of business? If not, thank you for your participation on this. Again, as I say, I don't think I'm here for that meeting and 99% sure I'm not here. So thank you, Matt, for chairing in September. Okay, that moves, motion to adjourn then. All right, all those in favor, thank you, and that is carried. Thank you.